Hi guys, welcome to Hira. My name is Jabila. Today we're going to be talking about the Senator Natasha Akpoti's issue or controversy with the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. Now, if you know anything about Senator Natasha, you know she's not someone to, for want of a better word right now, to be messed with, right? So if you give her, she would give you, in the sense that I feel like she's a fighter. She would go for what she wants and what she believes in. Whether you agree with how she does it or not is a different thing, but at least you know that if she stands for something, if she believes in something, she's going to go for it regardless of what's pushed in front of her. So in case you don't know her except for what has happened, she at some point ran for I think, I don't know if she also, no, she didn't run for governor, but she had run under the SDP at one point for a position in Kogi State. That wasn't successful, and then when she now started to run as a senator for her senatorial district, that was when it came out to light, where she alleged that the road leading to her constituent was excavated during the last election. I know there's some things that you think it's just Nigerian, it's just in the movies you see it. Yeah, this actually happened, but the government then of Yahaya Bello claimed it was to deter hoodlums and criminals who was using the roads as for their evil enterprises. But obviously she got the message. She spoke loudly about it, her people with her, and then eventually the election held. But on that particular election, I think she got 51,000 plus votes, and then the APC person got 52,000 plus votes. So according to that, with that result, he got sworn into the Senate. But obviously she went to court because she believed she had won the election, as against him winning the election. So the vote between both of them was about 300 and something. Eventually she went to court, she won that case, and then she was sworn in. So now this is not the story from the Senate side of things. So she got sworn in 2023, and then according to her, that's kind of almost when the story started with Akpabio. Please take a listen.
Many people do not know what I'm about to say, but I'm going to speak my own truth, and the Senate President is allowed to counter that. It all started on the 8th of December, 2023, which was a day before his birthday and my birthday. We are birthday mates. We were all in Akwa Ibom because he had a big fanfare in the stadium. Myself, my husband, and a few of his close friends, we went to Akwa Ibom. And at first, we were at Ikot Ekpene. We were in his house in Ikot Ekpene. Then we all moved to his house in Uyo, which was about 8 p.m. And he held my hand and said he wanted to show me around his house. My husband was walking behind us, just three of us. We're walking around from room to room. He showed me the beautiful interior. This was done by this, by that, this designer here, he bought this from us. I was like, oh, it's beautiful. And then I noticed that he hastened his pace while still holding my hand. And my husband was behind, still on his phone, but he was catching up whenever he could. And then he got to this particular sitting room, and he said, do you like my house? I said, of course, sir. Every room, beautiful, nice interior, quality taste. He said, now that you're a senator, I'm going to create a time for us to come spend quality moments here. You will enjoy it. At that point, I just pulled away and I was like, I don't really understand what exactly that meant.
Okay. So I just wanted to play that clip so that you can actually know where we're from to move forward to where we're actually here to discuss. I'm not necessarily discussing the sexual harassment claims she labeled against him, but I think what I'm here to discuss today, it was about the clash at the Senate with what happened concerning the seating arrangement she was given. If you also haven't seen that clip, please take a listen again.
Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without notice. A motion declaring that the content of breach of privilege
Show me the
has
section
been...
that allows suspension immediately.
Ever since the nightclub incident, you have deliberately silenced my voice and the voice of Kogi Central on this floor. You have denied me the right to contribute to motions. I have not been able to take the second reading of my numerous debates. So, Mr. Senate President, I am not afraid of further being silenced. But I will not be shocked to the corner. I choose, as the senator duly elected by my people, I choose to remain on this seat. Come what may. The worst you will do, Mr. Senate President, is to suspend me from sitting. And I promise you, the fact that I am suspended does not mean that I will cease to contribute my quota to the development of my people, the women of Nigeria, and Nigerians at large. Mr. Senate President, I have taken a whole lot from you. Some I don't want to speak publicly, but in due course I will tell Nigerians know how you have discriminated against me, how you have maligned me, how you have dehumanized me. Your choice of words is everything that is in the Senate have started up between the fresh to the womankind, and I have tolerated a whole lot. So Mr. Senate President, I am not afraid of you. Do what you may, but I will not leave this seat.
So before we come back to the sexual allegations aspect of it, because obviously we're going to say something about what people are saying back and forth, but just looking at the clip of the interaction that kind of stirred the controversy in the past week or so was her having her seat changed, which she believed was targeted at her. But if you look at things that have happened in the past with other senators, especially those in the opposition, which she is in, it's like they changed their seats. Obviously, a good number of them don't like it, and I think the Senate president has also been has had that issue when the former Senate president Bukola Saraki was there, and he wanted to speak to him, and Saraki clearly stated that you cannot speak to me like while you're not in the correct seat. So reading all other media interviews and all that, it's obviously that it was not like she cannot claim and say she's the first person that this is happening to. Now, why it is happening to her is a different thing. Now, on this particular day and this particular video, from where I started watching the video from, it was the chief whip who stood up and started reading the order and talking about her not being seated in the correct place and her having to move to the correct seat, and then the Senate president then adopted it. Now, she didn't say anything to the chief whip. Obviously, he's not her problem. She then said directly when she was trying to speak, and then he was like, no, she needs to go and sit down somewhere and speak, obviously, as you saw in the video. And then obviously she then gets visibly upset and then starts warning him, telling him she's not afraid of him, kind of, I'm not afraid of you, tell him all things. And then prior to that, they obviously had another kind of issue earlier when he said something about dressed abuse, something like this is not a nightclub or something, and which he later apologized for. I don't know if it was directly to her, but he later apologized for that statement, because obviously according to them that was bringing the Senate to disrepute. And a lot of them have actually based their issue on that what she did was bringing the Senate to disrepute. Now, whether you like it or not, Nigeria is a very good country on paper. In implementation, not so. And if it's been written in paper, even if they don't do what they are supposed to do, even if you think they are kind of coming at you, if they can use paper to tell you that this thing that you said or this thing that you did, blah blah, it's like the police now will catch you, and then the police will not tell that you are speaking against the officer of the law, kiniko. He has quoted what's already written on paper, and you're not supposed to kind of have what do you call it? Well, however the police person decides to kind of coin it. I'm just using the police like something, how somebody you can think you're doing something in a very normal way, and then the next thing police starts telling you, oh, you are speaking to the officer of the law in a very waiting manner, or you cannot do this to the officer of the law. Now he already pushed that officer of the law in the matter. It's going to use that as its basis for probably arresting you or detaining you. So you see how, like, on paper it is good, but they always want to use it to their advantage. And if on the paper it has said she couldn't speak while on a seat that was not allocated to her. They are going to dance around it, and obviously they are dancing around it. They are going back and forth and saying she shouldn't have spoken, the rule book said this and this. And then if you look at even after that interaction that day, I don't know if it's that particular day or the next day, that they even casted a vote of confidence on him, and like, oh, the eyes are big, and then poof. And then he then had to explain that even as the Senate president, so now what this has also said that the Senate president has enormous powers, that even as the Senate president, even without referring to any disciplinary committee or anything, that he has the power to suspend somebody for a senator for 14 days if within his own discretion believes that they've gone or put the Senate in disrepute. So he said the kind of power he has, he's not saying that I have that kind of power, so that whatever it is that you think you're going back and forth with, I have the power to do all these things. Now you can then argue, should she have moved to the seat they had given her and then raised the other 10 that she has been talking about? Maybe yes, maybe no. But again, as I said, if she believes in something she's going to fight, you can argue on how she goes about it. That's a different issue. But saying that she would not put up a fight might be like, you don't know this person. So yes, for me, again, don't come for me. I'm just telling you what my honest opinion is. You may not like it, you may disagree. That's okay, that's life. We always have to have different opinions. It could have just been obey before complain. Simple. When you move, you go, and then I don't know, I can't remember what I watched or something. I have seen that there's someone who, when you say do this or don't do that, they would not say anything. They will go to where you ask them to and then tell you, this thing that you asked me to, just if it's not detrimental to anybody's health or so or whatever, like it's not an extreme situation to say. And I believe obviously what happened to her was not an extreme situation. It could have just been moved and then explain this thing later, right? And then she also claimed that she wasn't getting the support she wanted from the women in the Senate. And interestingly, the Nigeria Senate is I think they are all 109, and then you have 4 women representing their constituents in the Senate. So she also felt that her people, the 4 women, did not stand by her. But another senator, Senator Ireti Kingbe, came out to say she tried calling her, she did not pick, and then she later spoke to her husband. And one interesting thing she's been doing as she's been putting all these things out is that she's calling names of people. So whether you think you were advising her in good faith, she's calling your name, and then it's looking like, oh, some senators told her, and don't fall for it. It's a trap, just move to the other seat, kiniko. And then others said, oh, you should take off the take away, don't take whatever it is. Obviously she has sued him to court. It doesn't need to get handled in court and all that. So you can see the intricacies within the whole thing. Like, it's a little complicated that from the rule book thing, it is now spilling out, and obviously has gone out. Her husband has come out to say he supports her, he trusts her, she's not going to lie to him. Akpabio's wife has come out to say she trusts. I don't know why I was laughing. I was very laughing when I was watching it. She said she trusts him. He's a very kind man. He's a very disciplined man. And then there's this talking point that she and one former senator, Olijimi, also pointed that, oh, he's a very friendly person. He jokes a lot, so you don't know when. I'm like, he jokes a lot. He jokes too much for a Senate president. Like, there are some jokes that you should not be saying. And obviously, in the past, since he became Senate president, we've known all these kind of things that he has said not in good taste, right? So yeah, that's why his wife says that. So because he jokes too much, people will take it for that. And another thing, again, to put this thing into kind of a context, is that these families obviously have known each other even prior to now. The husbands, according to the wife, and even them, I've said that, like, it's like they have a relationship different from whatever it is they have in the Senate. And then now that the sexual harassment allegations are going back and forth, it's like, okay, friendships are obviously it's kind of going to be wounded, relationships that you have built over the years, because it's not as if anything cannot be it's not like anything cannot be fixed or so, but you know, it's just things being in shaky and rocky positions. But again, she's alleging that he has done this to her. Obviously, there should be an investigation, because I don't think it should just go slightly. Whatever it is, there should be investigated. Did you harass her? What? and then get to it. Now, I'm not saying that it's not good, she's not going to get a good say in court. Again, it's Nigeria. Let's see how it plays out. Alright guys, I'd like to hear your comments, because I know I'm sure I've made some unpopular statements here. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.